The slope of a line is a measure of the line's steepness and is the rate at which y is changing with respect to x. Slope is defined numerically as the ratio of vertical change to horizontal change, often described as rise over run. We can see the equation for slope shown on the slide. It's simply the change in y, the rise, divided by the change in x, the run. To find the slope of a line from its graph, we identify 2 points on the line and move from the point on the left to the point on the right in order to find the vertical change and horizontal change. Let's look at some examples using the lines shown on the coordinate plane. First, the red line. Note that it passes through the point 0, 3, as well as the point 1, 6. To move from 0, 3 to 1, 6, we would first move vertically up along the y-axis 3 units, and then horizontally to the right along the x-axis 1 unit. So the change in y, the rise, is 3, while the change in x, the run, is 1, leading to a slope of 3 for the red line. Now let's look at the blue line. First we can identify 2 points, such as -1, 2, and 2, -2. In order to move from left to right along this line, we would first move down 4 units along the y-axis. And since we move down, we say that the rise is -4. Then we move to the right 3 units along the x-axis. So a rise of -4 and a run of 3 results in a slope of -4/3 for the blue line. Note that a line that slants upward from left to right, such as the red line shown, has a positive slope, while a line that slants downward from left to right, such as the blue line, has a negative slope. Now let's move to the green line. Note that it's a horizontal line. So if we select 2 points on this horizontal line, we'll see that there is no vertical change. There's no rise between those 2 points. There is a horizontal change, in this case 2. But if there's no vertical change, the numerator of the fraction is 0. 0 divided by 2, or 0 divided by any number, is simply 0. So we can see that the slope of this green line, and in fact the slope of any horizontal line, is 0. Finally, let's look at the yellow line. Once again, we can select 2 points. In this case, there is a vertical change, in this case 2, but there's no horizontal change. We don't move along the x-axis in either direction. So we have an expression like 2 divided by 0, or some other number divided by 0. Any number divided by 0 is said to be undefined. So we see that the slope of this yellow line, in fact, the slope of any vertical line, is undefined. It's also possible to find the slope of a line when given 2 points on the line, without having access to the graph. In order to do this, we write the difference of the y-coordinates over the difference of the x-coordinates. So the slope of the line through the points x sub 1, y sub 1, and x sub 2, y sub 2 is given by the equation shown. The quantity y sub 2 minus y sub 1 divided by the quantity x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Let's look at some examples. First, let's find the slope of the line through the points 0, 5, and 4, 7. We'll use our equation and fill in the coordinates of the points in the proper locations. In this case, y sub 2, the y-coordinate of the second point, is 7, while y sub 1, the y-coordinate of the first point, is 5. X sub 2, the x-coordinate of the second point, is 4, and x sub 1, the x-coordinate of the first point, is 0. This results in the fraction 2/4, or simplifying, 1/2. So the slope of the line through these 2 points is 1/2. Let's look at example number 2. In this case, our points are 1, -4, and -3, 2. Once again, we'll fill them in the proper locations within our slope equation. In this case, y sub 2 is 2. Then we have minus y sub 1, which is negative 4. In the denominator, we have x sub 2, which is negative 3, minus x sub 1, which is 1. Note that in the numerator, 2 minus negative 4 is equivalent to 2 plus 4, or 6. And then negative 3 minus 1 would be negative 4. Simplifying that fraction, we see that this line has a slope of negative 3 over 2. Let's move to example 3. The points are negative 2, 5 and 3, 5. In this case, y sub 2 minus y sub 1 would be 5 minus 5. X sub 2 minus x sub 1 would be 3 minus negative 2. This means we have the fraction 0 over 5. And 0 divided by 5 is simply 0. So the slope of this line is 0, meaning that it's a horizontal line. Finally, example 4, the points 6, 8 and the point 6, 9. Y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1 leads us to the fraction 1 divided by 0. This expression is undefined, so we say the slope of this line is undefined, which means that it is a vertical line. Let's summarize some key facts about slope. First, we've seen that the slope of a horizontal line, which has no rise, is 0, while the slope of a vertical line, which has no run, is undefined. Second, we've seen a line that having positive slope slants upward from left to right, while a line having negative slope slants downward from left to right. Third, the larger the absolute value of the slope, the steeper the line. So for example, a line having a slope equal to 2 would be steeper than a line having a slope equal to 1.